Drew McKissick is here. He runs the South Carolina Republican Party.
Yes, sir.
We should point out you and Trav are friends. There's still civil discourse left here in the Palmetto State.
He's just a little off base, but it's okay.
Let's start with the primary because you guys canceled it. Not unprecedented. And Democrats have done it as well.
Absolutely.
When there's an incumbent in the White House. Is there any concern that by canceling the primary, you perhaps drive down enthusiasm at all?
No, not at all. I mean, enthusiasm for the president's off the charts. I mean, you can look at even latest polls even show something like 97, 98% of Republicans nationwide, much less here in South Carolina, approve of the president. That's not an issue. I mean, he's looking at a turnout problem, though, on his side of the street, as you point out, and that goes back to enthusiasm, plain and simple. I mean, just on the Republican side back in 2016, we had 750,000 people voting our primary. And they're talking about a best-case scenario of maybe 400,000 or less showing up. That goes straight to enthusiasm. And again, as you point out, it's been down across the board in every state where they voted in so far. So they've got a math problem.
Let's talk about Operation Chaos for a moment. For folks who may not be familiar with Operation Chaos, South Carolina has an open primary.
Yes, they do.
Which means card-carrying Republicans can vote in the Democratic primary and vice versa.
That's right.
And since you don't have a primary, some well-known Republicans apparently have been calling on Republicans to vote in the Democratic primary, specifically for Bernie Sanders. They think that President Trump has the best chance to beat Bernie Sanders. Do you condone that?
No, look, we don't endorse that, haven't endorsed it. But the fact of the matter is, we don't register by party in South Carolina. It's unfortunate. You know, I believe in partisan registration. I think we should have it. We actually have a bill in the legislature with about 45 co-sponsors on it right now to get partisan voter registration in South Carolina. You know, the most important thing that a political party can do is actually choose its own candidates. So for me, I mean, look, I can't look at that side of the street and see any of those candidates that I would want to vote for. I mean, they're all socialists or shades of socialism. That's not something I could recommend to anybody else. But you guys are going to have the great exit polls. So tomorrow night, we'll be able, or Saturday night, you'll be able to look and see whether or not that actually happened. You'll be in a better position to know than I am. But people talk about this in every election cycle, in different elections, from county races up to presidential races here, because we don't have partisan registration. And it just remains to be seen if it's actually an issue. I think it's probably more of a media issue, quite frankly, because of all the attention focused on the primary right now.
Let's talk about Jamie Harrison for a second. He's going to join me later in the broadcast. Of course, Jamie is the Democrat who's challenging incumbent Senator Lindsey Graham, longtime senior senator here in South Carolina. How real is the threat that Jamie Harrison poses to Lindsey Graham right now?
Lindsey Graham's going to win South Carolina. That's not a discussion. I mean, if Donald Trump's going to carry South Carolina, that's not a discussion. So really, we're just talking about what's the margin going to be. And I think it'll be at least as good as Lindsey's margin the last time around. I mean, we're in a good situation right now statewide with all of our candidates from the top of the ticket all the way to the bottom, having the president and Lindsey Graham on the ballot in the same cycle. So we feel good.
Oftentimes you'll read and hear folks questioning why Lindsey Graham is such an ardent supporter of just about everything the president says or does, and whether that might affect him negatively politically back at home. That doesn't seem to be the case here at all.
We are certainly not seeing that in South Carolina. Again, South Carolinians support the president, and they support Senator Graham, and he's not going to have a problem in November.
Okay. Sure, thank you. Always
Absolutely.
good to have you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.